250 class the way he ended it last year. The question was answered in both Anaheim and Phoenix as crashes prevented him from leading a single lap. Round 3 at Edison International Field saw a return to form for Ricky, and a wire-to-wire victory silenced his critics. Last weekend in San Francisco's Pac Bell Park, he won again in convincing fashion. Chad Reed and Ezra Lusk also own main event wins, but crashes have kept them from challenging Ricky in the latter laps. Vuillemin and Ferry are also in the top 5 in the point standings, but can they win a main? The series now returns to Supercross's epicenter, Anaheim, California, for event number 5 of the THQ World Supercross GP and the AMA Supercross Series. And the action is right here on ESPN. Welcome you to Anaheim, California, Edison International Field, a capacity crowd. It is the hottest ticket in town, and for good reason. The 250, the best in the world class, take the field tonight. Hello, everybody. Todd Harris, along with the champ, David Bailey. I'll tell you what, last week's racing was awesome. Ricky Carmichael, David Vuillemin, Chad Reed, all doing battle, and all ended up on the podium.
Well, you look at all those guys, and Ricky, as soon as you give him a couple of wins, he's dangerous. He gets that kind of confidence, and he rides at a little tougher level, puts the pressure on everybody, and right now somebody else needs to step up and stop his streak.
Well, that other person might be Chad Reed on board his Yamaha.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Todd, I expect Chad to come in here the way Ricky came in here last time. He's got the momentum. He knows he can win the races, and he's frustrated he hasn't, so he's going to come in here on fire.
Let's talk about his teammate, David Vuillemin.
Well, Vuillemin rode like he should have been riding last week. He had a heat win, the fastest lap in practice, made the podium. We should see a lot more of that out of David.
All right now let's take a look at our Honda Series standings. You'll see Ricky Carmichael atop the board, then Chad Reed, Tim Ferry, Ezra Lusk, and David Vuillemin. Let's talk about Ezra Lusk. Here's a kid who got that huge victory in Phoenix. A little bit of an up and down the last couple weeks.
Yeah, and, you know, his whole career has been a little bit up and down, but you know, last week was just a bummer. He didn't even make it to the first corner. It just hangs a left, crashes into the side of the finish line jump. But what I like about Ezra was that he fought back. I mean, he wasn't last. He was way back and last. He came all the way up to 6th. So if Ezra can just make it to the first corner and stay on the bike, we know he's going to be in the top 4 or 5.
Let's take a look at our THQ World Supercross GP standings, and there you'll see Chad Reed, David Vuillemin, and Timmy Ferry, the 3 Yamaha riders, going 1, 2, and 3 in the standings. Right now, let's send it down to the 3rd member of our broadcast team. Welcome back, Davey Coombs.
Thanks, guys. The track builders are always trying to find new and unique ways to challenge the riders, and for this race, they've come up with the Anaheim Option. Here's the way it works. Off the start, they have created 2 identical sections of the racetrack. One goes to the right, one goes to the left. After a turn and a straightaway, they merge back together. Now, during the race, the riders can go any which way they want, but from the starting gate, they have to go to the right or to the left, depending on where they've lined up. And because they go to the gate by how they finish in qualifiers, well, that means the Anaheim Option should make for some great qualifying action. Back to you.
Dave, it's now time for our THQ track map.
Well, as Davey already pointed out, we got something brand new this time at Anaheim, and this is very creative. The guys are going to go right and left, 10 riders to the right, 10 to the left, then they merge back together, all 20 riders through the first rhythm section, 180 back through another rhythm section, followed by yet another one. Then they go down the first base line, whoops and a triple. Home plate, they make a right, go over another triple and some whoops as they work their way to the finish jump.
As we take a look at our starting lineup, brought to you by Nissan, there's Chad Reed, number 22 on board the Yamaha, his teammate Tim Ferry, Sebastien Tortelli, Mike LaRocco, Ivan Tedesco, Fonseca, Nick Way, Larry Ward, Keith Johnson, and Grant Langston.
And Chad Reed, Todd, has decided to go on the left side of the gate. He'll turn left while LaRocco and Ferry and Fonseca are going right.
This is heat number 1 of the 250s from Anaheim, California. And get set, folks. The Anaheim merge is coming on. We'll have 2 hole shotters. Tim Ferry in the back of the pack gets tangled up, so he's way back there. But it's the Rock, Mike LaRocco out in front, followed by Chad Reed. They go 1 and 2 into the green flag lap here in Anaheim.
Looked like Reed might have had it when they got back together, but Larry Ward, number 10, sitting in 3rd, just got an elbow in front of Reed, slowed his progress just a touch, but Reed is still where he needs to be.
And Larry Ward showing us something last week in San Francisco, but right now it's the Rock, Mike LaRocco. We talked about him we've had a lot of conversations, David. If he can get a great start, this may be a guy who picks up a win this weekend.
We just panned past the pile-up in the back section. That involves Paul Carpenter, a couple of riders, Craig Decker, but look at this battle.
Full sig alert back there as we go back to it. Look at that.
That's
similar.
the exact same place of that LaRocco Pastrana
incident.
pile-up. The same place on the racetrack.
Well, here they come. Reed on the outside, LaRocco on the inside. Chad Reed, not enough of a run at him.
Reed's got an interesting line through there if he can get in the clear. He's tripling all the way into the corner, but LaRocco is in his way, so he can't do it.
So if you're Chad Reed's mechanic, when he comes around and looks at his board, you tell him to take the other line.
Yeah, I think, of course, you want to just, whatever line the guy, if Mike goes right, he goes left. You can't pass the guy following him through the same section, so I'd look for Reed to be aggressive and try to just beat him through the opposite option.
Well, unfortunately, a bit of bad news away from the track. 111 Grant Langston was involved in that pileup. He is walking up the track holding his arm, David. We know he's had an injured. But look at this, Chad Reed getting a good run through the whoop section and shuts the door.
Well, I'll tell you what, I just rode through those things down there a little while ago on the four-wheeler, and they're huge. Those boots are like jumps. And Chad just muscled his way in there. See, LaRocco's going, all right, if he's going that way, I'll go right. He's been beating him to that final corner. Now you're going to get to see that rhythm I was talking about. Chad goes all the way. He's not going to do it this time. Does something a little different. But he's got a little trick up his sleeve right there that looks pretty fast. I don't think he wants to show Mike.
Chad Reed is synonymous with fast. The young man originally from Curry, Australia. And here's the pass one more time. Set himself up perfectly.
Well, you just want to go a little bit to the inside. LaRocco should have gone down the middle and made it even tougher for him, but you know, those whoops are huge, and if Mike's got a spot through there he's a little bit more comfortable with, he's not going to move over and try to ride behind him. He's just trying to do his own thing, and it's not that bad to follow Chad around right now. It's a heat race is all, so learn as much as you can to take to the main. Mike is smart. He's been around a while, and he knows Chad's riding well right now, so he's just learning from him. Also, Mike was the fastest in the first practice session today. Reed was the fastest in the second one, so they're just learning from each other in the heat.
Mike LaRocco, a true veteran of the sport, out of South Bend, Indiana, on board the Honda AMSOIL Chaparral Honda Factory Connection ride. Chad Reed, we've mentioned before, he is the epitome of speed, and here comes LaRocco.
See that line? He triples all the way into the corner. And he didn't get a gap on Mike, so maybe it's not all that fast.
Well, it's similar to what Ricky Carmichael was doing last week in San Francisco, and it wasn't until later in the year that Tortelli kind of figured out his trick.
You know, I thought Chad might pull away a little bit, but Mike is right there. And if he can stay like this, he's just going to build confidence with each lap that he's able to ride and close the gap on Reed in places.
We will step aside for just a moment. When we come back, the conclusion of heat number 1 in the 250 class when we roll on from Anaheim Edison International Field. The THQ World Supercross GP and the AMA Supercross Series is being brought to you by Suzuki, maker of innovative motorcycles and all-terrain vehicles. By THQ's MX Superfly, featuring Ricky Carmichael, now available on the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube. And by Honda, the company that defines performance in motorcycles, ATVs, personal watercraft, and scooters. Back to Anaheim and Edison International Field in Southern California as we are in the midst of 250 heat number 1.
Pretty impressive. I expected Chad to come into this race a little bit like Carmichael came in here at the last round going, that's 2 losses in a row. I got to get things sorted out and start winning. Chad knows he can win. He's trying to do the same thing. He's coming in here hot, and LaRocco's hanging with him.
Well, there's so much parity on the tour, and the line between first and not making the podium is so small. One small slip-up, and you'll be done. Look at the run LaRocco gets to that whoop section. Amazing. He's got that line totally figured out.
Chad trying to protect that inside just in case. Still running the middle of that, so he's forcing LaRocco to have to go all the way onto the inside. Then he wouldn't be able to do that double right there. So smart line by Reed, but LaRocco just turned the fastest lap. 58 flat.
And they split one more time. This is exciting. Watch the right side of your screen. Chad Reed getting a full run at it. Mike LaRocco has to come in, tap the brakes just a little bit, and bank out of there. And again, just not close enough. Chad Reed maintains his lead.
Well, it's a little bit quicker than what it was in the practice session. The second practice this afternoon, the final one, Reed the fastest with a 58.7. Now they're running 58 flat. racing, they always pick up the intensity a little bit. Some riders, they look great in practice to get into the race, and they don't have that extra little, 0.4 of a second like Reed does, and LaRocco is showing us right now that he does also. Plus, he got the hole shot on his side. Good for Mike. He's been getting better starts, but hole shots are fairly rare.
Well, Chad Reed is Australian for fast, and right now he is showing why here in Anaheim. As you said, he got the hole shot here at Edison International. He has led throughout. LaRocco has given him a run for the money. Mike LaRocco actually getting the hole shot on his side of the track, so it's really tough to say. Look at that. White flag lap is out, and Mike LaRocco making the most of it. Chad Reed comes right back and block passes him into the lead one more time.
And Mike was all set up to get back underneath him. He's still on the inside. See if he does something here.
Oh, no! LaRocco clipping the back end of Reed's tire. Both men go down. And again, I don't think that was intentional, but as we talked about, when racing's that close, it's going to happen.
Well, now Tedesco, number 52. Yamaha Troy, 125 rider on the East Coast. There he is with Nick Way, number 27, gaining on him. Taking another look, you can see that LaRocco was going in. He was going to try to make a block pass at the last minute, realized he wasn't in there close enough to make it clean, tried to back out of it. It was too late contact, and you can bet Reed's going to be uptight about it. But I don't think he intended for that to happen.
Yeah, they just clip tires. They come through, so there is an amazing turn of events on the last lap. Fortunately, both men are okay, but I wonder if there's going to be words on that one. Chad Reed picks up the victory despite going down, and, well, thank goodness for the Honda Tough Blocks. Both gentlemen were the recipients of kind landings, because that could have been disastrous. With only half lap to go in heat number 1, we are in for a great night. As we take a look at our Honda Heat 1 official results, despite the fall, Chad Reed is your winner. Ivan Tedesco will move into second, Nick Way third, Sebastien Tortelli fourth, and Mike LaRocco goes to fifth. Right now, let's send it down to Davey Coombs.
Well, that was an exciting one, Chad. What happened on the last lap?
Mike just, I don't know how to explain that one. It's, I went to the outside, and, I could have protected it, or it was kind of like a win-lose situation. If I had went to the inside, he would have went to the outside and passed me, but, he didn't turn and just kind of hit my leg, and could have just thrown my toe back on, and we were back for the final.
He didn't look very happy after the race.
I said to him, I said, come on, you're 30 years old, and you do stupid stuff like that in a heat race, and, it's a lot of fun, Like I said, we're going to put my toe back on and get ready for the main. I want to thank a bunch of people, Parts Unlimited, Thor, and Yamaha. Just keeping me out there and keeping me safe.
Good ride.
Thanks a lot.
It is time now for Suzuki's On Track.
In a stadium like this, there's almost 12,000 tons of dirt, so the majority of the time is just to get it in here. But we normally start on a Tuesday morning, and we've got to have it ready for Friday practice. Out's got to be much quicker. They want it out of here by the afternoon after the show, so we work overnight Saturday night after the race, and we've got it cleaned by Sunday afternoon. Some of the stuff's pretty standard, the triples and all, but in the summertime when we do the track designs, we kind of put a bunch of side views of different obstacle sections we think are good on the wall, actually, and then Bomber and I and some of the other guys kind of trace out what we think they're going to do, and we try to make lanes that have a bunch of choices. He's been with me almost 10 years now, and he's a great machine operator, but being a national champion several times, he really brings something more to the table than just pulling levers on a dozer. We have 12 people we can count on if we need to, but we usually bring about 7 to a Supercross. Every guy on our staff rides, and in fact, almost every guy was a rider and not an equipment operator. We sort of have to teach ourselves how to run the equipment. It's better to have the experience of what a racetrack's supposed to look like.
Set for the THQ starting grid here in heat number 2. There you see Ricky Carmichael, Lusk, Vuillemin, Roncada, Byrne, Voss, Clark, Huffman, Schnell, and Brock Sellers. Rounding out page 2, it's Pierrick Paget and Mickael Pichon coming over from France, and McCormick, Lytle, Bonds, Morgan, Porter, Dudek, Barrett, and Dave Castillo. Well, if heat number 2 lives up to the excitement we saw in heat number 1, this should be fantastic. There is two-time defending champion Ricky Carmichael set to go. He's on a bit of a winning streak, David, as we mentioned. How does Ricky handle this heat race?
Try to get to start. He's right next to Lusk. And those guys are starting on the right side. You know, Ricky's just going to try to win this thing, get a good start, and get out away from all the trouble. All the hot shots are pretty much electing to start on the right and turn right. Vuillemin, just like Chad Reed did in the hits before, is starting over on the left. He's going to try to beat all the privateers and have clear sailing on the left side.
There's France's Stephane Roncada on board the Suzuki, number 21.
Team Suzuki is just all France. You got Mickael Pichon, Sebastien Tortelli, and Roncada. Roncada and Pichon both in this heat.
30 boarded sideways, and we are racing as they split courses. On the left-hand side, we have a rider that's going all the way across. That was 916. Peugeot showing the boys how it's done. On the right-hand side, as they come together in the Anaheim crush. Unbelievable.
Sellers jumps into the lead now. So it looked like Pichon had it. He gets blocked past to shuffle back another position. Vuillemin didn't come out too bad over on the side by himself.
Pichon trying to get back what he thinks is rightfully his. A great battle going right there. Pierrick Paget also out there, a French rider who got a great start. Came all the way across his line and just dove in.
Well, Pierrick Paget is actually a friend of David Vuillemin, who's over here helping out quite a bit. Carmichael, just behind these guys, cased the triple. And he's strong enough to deal with that. He got pinched off right away, but you can see he's already up to third. So in traffic, Carmichael's so impressive. Now Sellers way out in front, but then behind that you've got two Frenchmen. Pierrick Paget, Mickael Pichon has just decided to take a break from his season over in Europe before the GPs actually start. Number 904 right there. He should go into second here. He does. He triples past Pierrick Paget.
So Sellers is your leader. Paget and Pichon fighting now in second and third. Ricky Carmichael now coming into view, sitting in fourth on board his Honda. And look at him making that pass. Getting ready to.
Well, this would be interesting. A lot of people wanted to see the matchup between Pichon, who won the World Championship in the same dominant fashion that Carmichael, who makes the pass on Paget, won over here in the States. So this is the real showdown that everybody was really curious to see. 904 versus 4. Oh, Ricky almost goes down and still makes the pass. They don't even look at each other, okay? That's poise. They don't care about each other. And they're splitting. This is great.
Oh, boy. Get ready, folks. The Anaheim crush could be on. Ricky makes the turn. Pichon makes the turn as they come in there. And who's going to have the advantage? Looks like Carmichael gets the job done.
Well, now Pichon gets to... He doesn't just have to read about this in Cycle News or watch this on ESPN. He's got a great view of Carmichael right now. He can learn a little bit. This is just fun for him. No pressure. He doesn't have to worry about points, the series, the championship. These are fun races, recess.
When we return to Anaheim, California, we'll have the conclusion of heat number 2 in the 250 class, plus the Thor rider profile. Stay with us on ESPN. Stop number 5 as heat number 2 is underway. Meanwhile, great battle going on here. Yamaha versus Honda, Carmichael versus Sellers. And look at Ricky. Decides to back off a little bit and then gets the job done.
Yeah, Sellers was like, oh no. He just went wide. He could feel the pressure and was like, okay, I know who that is.
You know, and I think that shows the education of Ricky Carmichael. I think maybe a year ago or even a few weeks ago, he would have forced that issue, backed off just a little bit, and then made the pass, made it safely, no problem.
Well, Sellers made a nice recovery in the whoops because he was going sideways, gets bucked right there, and Ricky just got a better run and just jammed all of his weight onto that bike on the takeoff so he wouldn't go as high, and then just had the inside sort of force Sellers wide. And Brock will still be happy, I would imagine, if he can hang on and transfer directly to the main. He's got both Pichon and Roncada lined up behind him.
Well, as we look at Ricky Carmichael, maybe the pound-for-pound best Supercross racer in the world, we've got a three-way battle taking place. 18 is Sellers, Pichon, Roncada, all in there. Ricky Carmichael, all but checked out, has now about a 30-yard lead over second place, which is Sellers. Pichon, though, is coming hard, number 904. With just 3 laps to go, David, the French riders look serious.
Well, you know, Roncada's been over here. He's been riding Supercross. And Pichon just shows up on vacation and goes out in practice. That's a pretty quick time, and he's out here beating Roncada, who's part of the Team Suzuki deal, and a little bit of an ego slap, you know, to have a guy just come over here for the heck of it and ride well. But he's probably riding without pressure and a little bit more relaxed than the other guys. If you've ever had to get up in front of a bunch of people and make a speech, you know how you can flub it up a little bit and get a little more nervous. And, you know, he's not riding with that kind of pressure.
Well, it was 10 years ago that Pichon won his very first 125cc Supercross race in San Diego. He looks surprisingly strong. Here it goes again. Yeah, I love how he gets behind him and just dances around and looks for an open line, just picking his line. Whatever Sellers does, he'll do the opposite. White flag is out for number 4. That's RC Ricky Carmichael on board the Honda.
And he just went 57.9. So
unbelievable.
Fastest lap yet. This is the real battle behind Ricky's fast laps. Look at that. Pichon is so good on that hard-pack slick stuff. Great throttle control. Very technical. So he picked a good track to enter the series with.
Pierrick Paget in there trying to force the issue just a little bit.
See
Vuillemin, yeah, back on track. That's good to see.
Yeah, he was walking away. He was holding everything. It's hard to tell what was hurt, if anything. So he's going to ride the track a little bit, check out some lines. We'll see him again in the semi. This is where
Sellers.
I expect Pichon to make up some time. But Sellers is just so strong, such a bulldog. That bike dances around a little bit like we've seen Carmichael do, but he doesn't lose any ground.
Well, Ricky Carmichael bringing it across, getting the checkered flag. So Carmichael wins heat number 2.
What a ride by Sellers to hang on to second.
So Brock Sellers with a tremendous ride. Vuillemin goes into the semis. That's somewhat of a surprise. But Ricky Carmichael picks up yet another win, and I think for Ricky, this is all part of the plan. Get the heat win and let the momentum and the confidence carry him into the main.
Well, T and Chad Reed setting the pace, winning their heats. Vuillemin's been to the semi before. He did it at San Diego last year. He came back and won the main. He did it at the first round in Geneva. Went to the semi, came back and won the main. He needs to get fired up and mad, and I'll bet you he is now.
As we take a look at our Suzuki Heat 2 official results, remember, the top 4 go to the main event. It's Ricky Carmichael, Brock Sellers, Mickael Pichon, and Stephane Roncada. Right now, let's send it down to Davey.
Ricky, I'll bet you're glad that you weren't in that first heat race.
I'm glad I wasn't, Davey. I tell you, man, those guys are just out there playing with each other, and they're not racing, you know what I mean? And, you know, I had mixed emotions on that first heat race, but, you know, I'm out there trying to do my own thing and just trying to take care of myself.
I noticed on the option that you went to the right every single time. In fact, even past the guy there.
Yeah, I did. I think the right-hand side is a little better tonight, and that's probably what I'm going to be doing all in the main event. I feel really good through there, and I think it's a little bit shorter. It's going to be interesting, but, man, I need a better start in the main event.
All right, good job. We'll see if you can make it 3 in a row tonight.
Thanks a lot, Davey.
It's now time for our Thor rider profile.
Well, I've caught up with the 103 Sobi Suzuki, Sebastien Tortelli, and we've seen him on the podium. I have to ask you, first off, the relationship between you and your new coach. He's champion in 86 and 88, Ricky Johnson. How is that helping?
I mean, it's been like 3 months we're working together. It's been great. You know, we've been working out hard, and, you know, we just work on basics first and, you know, get like the emotion going on. And, you know, that was good to go overseas to these 2 first races of the World Championship. You know, we got to know each other for 2 weeks better, and, you know, Tony, my mechanic, was with us. It was a good time. And, you know, we keep working every day and making good steps, but strong steps, so I'm very happy.
What I liked the most about Sebastien was when he approached me, he said, let's talk, let's find out if we like each other, and then we can see if we want to work together. It wasn't just like, okay, it wasn't out of desperation.
No, you know, we do part of our training. We do some jiu-jitsu with Chris Bannon, and, you know, we train together, and that's the way for me to warm up. And, you know, it's motivation also on the same time, you know, when you get contact, and, you know, that's pretty aggressive contact right there. So, you know, when you get on the track, you know, whatever happens, you can handle it.
Sebastien, he'll do anything I tell him to. If I say jump a quad that no one's jumped, he'll jump it, but he also knows that I will not put him in a dangerous position. So his commitment to do whatever it takes,
stay up all night, sleep all day, whatever it is, train hard, make sacrifices. That's what's going to make Sebastien Tortelli a Supercross champion.
You came into Supercross, I think, riding 103. You won at the LA Coliseum. Then you rode the 13. I want to ask you, are you superstitious? I mean, obviously not. You took the number and ran it. Do you feel bad that you ran it? Do you regret running the 13?
I was very happy about running the 13. You know, it was a different time, and you know, everybody wanted me to change number. There was a new year, a new bike, new things going on, and you know, I'd rather change number. You know, it's a new guy out there. You know, different colors, everything is going different for me, and as my life as today. So, you know, why not start from something fresh and with a good memory on it?
Well, the 103 seems to be working out for you. You liking the number? You feel like you might hang on to that one for a while?
Yeah, sure. You know, I feel comfortable with it, and you know, I'm looking forward to a one-digit number. So, you know, 103 will be good until then.
Until the one digit. He wants the one digit, I think is what he's trying to say, and that's all he has to say. He's not superstitious, and he wants the number one. Enough said.
Time now for our Honda flashback. At this event last year, Jeremy McGrath, who had sadly been a non-factor for the first 4 events of the season, sent wanting fans into a frenzy as he grabbed the whole shot and led the field for several laps. Defending Supercross and event champion Ricky Carmichael got off to a poor start, but a crash by Pastrana and a victorious battle with Roncada would set him on McGrath's heels and on his way to his second win of the season. Our next event, Minneapolis, Minnesota on February 15th. Also, check us out in Atlanta, Georgia on the 22nd. When we return to Anaheim, California, the main event of the 250. Stay with us. Let's take a look at our qualifying highlights. First up was semifinal number 1, and for Tim Ferry, the night just did not get much better.
Well, he moved up a little bit. He goes around the outside of Eric Vallejo right there to the back of Keith Johnson to move up into third as LaRocco got another hole shot and cruises the win.
So Mike LaRocco picks up the victory in semifinal number 1. That would take us to semifinal number 2 as The Rock looked awfully relieved to be in the main event.
Ryan Clark giving us a great look. Lusk to the left. Vuillemin gets the whole shot.
The camera work was spot on.
Well, we got a lot of good stuff. Pile up right there. That was Clark Stiles and Bobby Bonds, I'm pretty sure.
But here's where it all went wrong. Ryan Clark getting tangled up there, and his night was in effect almost over.
Now, McCormick didn't jump it, didn't know where to go, and while all that was happening, Vuillemin cruised an easy win here.
The Cobra striking for a victory in semifinal number 2. He would move on to the main event. In the last chance qualifier, somehow Ryan Clark made it back in.
Gets the whole shot. He's got the inside, but he doesn't get going quick enough. Somebody tags him from the left. Bam, down. That was it for the helmet camera.
Meanwhile, Casey Lytle got out to a great lead. He had a pair of Hondas right behind him, and really the battle was on to see which of the Hondas would move on out of the LCQ.
Kind of tough as teammates racing for the final spot. Casey Lytle not giving up anything, but as Larry Ward tripling out of that roof section to get the better of his teammate Damon Huffman.
And he would move on, and those are your Nissan qualifying results. Right now, let's set it down trackside. Davey Coombs is standing by with a legend, Jeremy McGrath, and Troy Gloss of the Anaheim Angels.
Thanks a lot, you guys. Everyone knows Jeremy's been getting some pretty cool gifts on his farewell tour from Supercross, but look what Troy Gloss from the World Series champion Anaheim Angels brought down, Jeremy's own jersey. What do you think? You going to wear this?
I'm definitely not going to wear this. I would like to thank Troy and the Anaheim Angels organization. This is a very cool gift, and I was watching it on TV, but I think I'm going to have to go to some games now.
Yeah, and by the way, congratulations, World Series champion. This place was just crazy back in October.
Oh, it was unbelievable. I mean, it was packed like it is now, screaming and yelling. Everybody's wearing red. It was unbelievable.
Congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys, back upstairs.
You take a look at our Suzuki main event starting grid. It's Ricky Carmichael, Chad Reed, and Brock Sellard. Tedesco's in there. Mickael Pichon is in there. Nicholas Way, Roncada, Tortelli. Michael Byrne looked good in the early round. Ernesto Fonseca looked great. Lusk. who came in just a little under the weather. And Tim Ferry, as we talked about, making the jump from a 4-stroke back to a 2-stroke. Pierrick Paget, also part of that French invasion. Right now, let's go to Davey Coombs, who is trackside.
Thanks, guys. The track's holding up real well down here, maybe too well. The dirt is so hard packed. Check this out. This is the corner right after the finish line. You could sweep that off with a broom. It makes traction really hard. All the tire guys have been down here and checking it out, keeping it out on this corner. I have a feeling by the end of the night, someone's going to go down, or at least maybe need a steel-toe shoe because they're flat tracking right out of there.
Well, there you look at the configuration of the track, David, and I'll ask you, this dual hole shot, going right, going left. What do you think so far?
Well, I would feel comfortable with lining up on the side that had the weaker gate. Most of the guys, as we're looking at the starting line right now, are on the left as we see it. So they'll be turning right. And those white lines, as soon as they come out of the corner, you can see one over to the left. There's the one to the right. There's the flashing light next to it. You get a whole shot for the group going left and one going for the right. Then they merge back together, and it's pretty exciting to see what happens when they get back together. Mickael Pichon over here from Europe, number 904, just to Carmichael's left. They're on the right side of the gate. LaRocco all the way on the left side of the gate. So he's hoping to get a reaction. Beat Tedesco there, number 52, off the line, and just push everybody in that left-hand corner. So far, he's been good.
Well, strap in, folks. This is the main event, the 250 main, a packed house here in Anaheim, California at Edison International Field as the 30 board is up. The best riders in the world literally are here. They've traveled from all corners to make it to the third and final stop in Anaheim, California. And the folks here have been the greatest hosts. Final preparations being made. SXGP.com doling out not one, but 2 checks, and the 30 board is sideways. We are set to race in Anaheim.
Looks like Vuillemin scoops up to one side. Ezra gets underneath him.
Michael Byrne coming out of the right side very fast. So it's Byrne and Lusk going in there, and Ricky Carmichael, you knew he was going to find his way in there. So right now it is Byrne, Lusk, and Carmichael.
So is LaRocco and Michael Byrne, both on Hondas that got the hole shots. Looked like Vuillemin came in, but he didn't get out of there. He had to go wide, and he got shuffled way back.
Oh, this is going to be a great evening, folks. This is the 250 main event. Michael Byrne out of Australia, out in front right now, getting pressure now from Ezra Lusk.
And watch on the other straightaway, the yellow rider just taking off, going the other way. That's Mickael Pichon. He went down. He's in last. So is Keith Johnson. Reed and Lusk again. Oh, no, LaRocco and Tortelli make contact. So they're last.
Mike LaRocco has somewhat of a love-hate with the folks of the track here in Anaheim. It's been a difficult place. He's had some great results, but not tonight.
Now you got a couple of Australians in the top 3. French rider running neck and neck with Chad Reed right now. Carmichael taking a look at all of it. Roncada has the inside. Chad didn't have any room, but he still got out of there and got the double and set himself up for this section. He'll have the inside, but he can't do anything about it.
Well, this is what a lot of people wanted to see, Ricky Carmichael and Chad Reed doing battle. Unfortunately, they're back in the pack, 3rd and 4th. Ricky comes up a little bit short in that triple, still makes it through. There's Ezra Lusk trying to hold off Stephane Roncada. 2nd and 3rd. Your leader, Michael Byrne.
Judging from last week, this fast pace up front is going to take its toll on number 21, Roncada. He does have Epstein-Barr. I thought, I don't know. That sounds like an excuse. It's not an excuse. I talked to Roger DeCoster. He thought the same thing. He went to the doctor with Stephane on a 1 to 5 scale, 5 being bad. He's at 4.9. He's got no energy for 20 laps, but he's doing a heck of a job right now.
Michael Byrne continues to lead here in the 250 main. Ezra Lusk starting to push him. And then it's Stephane Roncada in 3rd. Chad Reed, number 22, on board the Yamaha in 4th. Ricky Carmichael sitting in 5th. The 2-time defending champion on board the Honda looking good. The Yamahas are looking good. We have got some great parity here. All the factories are represented other than KTM, and I'm sure they'll have something to say about it here pretty soon.
This is great. A Honda, a Kawasaki, a Suzuki, a Yamaha, and then another Honda. The Honda sandwich right now, the top 4. Ricky up there with Chad. Look at this. A little back and forth. Ezra picks it up. He's trying to ditch Reed is what he's trying to do.
Well, they've had some great battles, maybe one of the best heat races we've seen in Phoenix all year long, and the split is starting to come into play. Here we go, the Anaheim merge. Byrne goes through, Lusk goes through, then it's Roncada. Carmichael goes in, and he will slide in front of Chad Reed.
Chad made a gamble right there. It didn't pay. Oh, Carmichael gets a little sideways, but he picks the timing back up.
We'll step aside from Anaheim, California. When we come back, we'll have more of the 250 main right here on ESPN. Field in beautiful Anaheim, California, as the 250 main is in progress. With 13 laps to go, it is Ezra Lusk and David Vuillemin right now, sitting 5 and 6 respectively, with Chad Reed right in front of them in position number 4.
I think Vuillemin can get by him in the whoops. He's got to stay close.
Well, here it is.
Battle for the front.
Ricky Carmichael, number 4. Number 32 is Mickael Byrne. And RC, look at him fly through the whoops.
Byrne is not cracking, and this is plenty of pressure, believe me.
But you got to love how Ricky, every time around, David, looks like he's taking a different line. Just trying to find a little crack, a new something, a new nuance to show him.
He just creates so much pressure for the guys he's chasing. Look at this. Oh, I thought he might have an inside right there. As long as he's got a bit of a gap back to Reed, he can be patient. But as soon as Reed closes, if he can, you'll see Ricky go ballistic and do whatever it takes.
Look at that. Ricky goes in, sets up the block, pulls it off. Now ahead of them, yellow flags are out. We've got riders down. It'll be interesting to see how this affects them. Ricky slams the door shut.
You can color him gone now. Reed losing time to these two. Vuillemin still not able to get around Lusk and Roncada getting held up. And look at Byrne coming right back.
Well, Mickael Byrne, who was once a foe, Ricky takes a look over at him, both men on board the Honda. Now Ricky's counting on Mickael Byrne as they come up on that yellow flag to now clear the track. Ricky's now counting on Mickael Byrne to hold off Chad Reed.
Check this out again. Ricky going into the inside. Byrne thought he had enough of an inside, but Ricky just found a little bit more. Just riding a little bit more on the edge, leaning it over, just chopping off a couple feet of racetrack. And I like the way he goes into a corner. In the air, he puts his foot out.
Back to racing action. The battle for second starting to heat up. Here comes Chad Reed, the Thunder from down under. Chad Reed out of Australia. On board the Yamaha number 22, looking fast and fresh as he starts and gets the job done on Mickael Byrne.
Coming at the entrance of this section, Vuillemin finally around Ezra Lusk. Chad Reed, I thought, well, he's starting to work his way up on Ricky just a bit. He's into second now, and I said last week, somewhere during the season, we are going to see a Carmichael-Reed battle. 11 laps to go, and folks, don't go anywhere, because Reed, I think he's got speed to catch Ricky. Passing him, who knows?
We'll take a quick break. When we come back, the conclusion of the 250 main right here on ESPN. 250 main is winding down in front of over 45,000 people at Edison International Field. Ezra Lusk currently sitting in 5th place, right behind David Vuillemin. Stephane Roncada on the back of him. Ricky Carmichael, though, that continues to lead. And he cannot shake Chad Reed with just 6 laps to go. So any mistake by either of these men, and it may be the race.
Roncada fading a little bit more.
I'm really surprised, though, David, excuse me, I'm really surprised Chad Reed has not tried the outside line. He just seems to be content staying behind Ricky.
Well, I think he found out that one time when he went wide and Ricky passed him, he's going, well, now when I'm trying to make time, I don't want to take a chance, go out there again and lose a couple tenths of a second, because that just to get a couple of tenths of a second, even to match Ricky's lap time, it takes a lot. So you don't want to take a chance of giving any of that up.
You are watching the 250 main from Anaheim, California. This is the 3rd time we've been here this year, and every time it has been fantastic. Ricky comes up short there once again. Your leader, Ricky Carmichael. David Vuillemin now starting to make a run in the outside whoop section, trying to get himself onto that podium.
Vuillemin looking forward. That's a good sign. He's like, yeah, I'm going to get this guy, but where's the first 2? So he did that last week. You see him looking ahead, shows a bit of confidence, but the laps are winding down. is just not able to do much. Vuillemin,
running the inside wheel of Byrne, but can't close the deal. Byrne slings it back to the left. Mickael Byrne has done a great job. He got the hole shot, or SXGP.com hole shot on one of the sides, and he had to hold up Ricky Carmichael. He got passed by Chad Reed, but all in all, Byrne has looked fantastic.
See Reed just entering the corner at the end of this straightaway as we saw these guys coming in. They're not that far back. They've been able to match Reed and Carmichael's pace pretty good. And Vuillemin's best chance that I can see is to try to rail this outside right now and get a heroic run through the woods. He's got a better run this time, but Byrne is steady on that right side.
He is.
Of course, that cuts off any opportunity of a block pass into that corner. So he's got to ride protective right now, and I think Vuillemin, if he could get around, he would pull a gap. That wouldn't be any good because leaders are gone now.
It's interesting, though, every time they come over that section, he looks over to his right, and as he checks, you think he's checking to see where Ricky is? Here he goes!
Yeah, he was close the last time, and Byrne should have been able to cover that, but Vuillemin was a little too strong for him, and I think Byrne, judging by how much he faded back last week, this is a lot better.
Look at it one more time as they make this turn into the right. David just got a great run.
Well, he used a little bit of that berm out there to knife it back to the inside. And he was able to get the power to the ground a little sooner, get a good straight shot. So he'll be on the podium for the second week in a row. Watch Vuillemin use the berm. Boom, hits that, gets on the gas early, doesn't have any wheel spin. That was easy. Still a great ride for Byrne. And Ricky inching away right now, just a little bit from Chad Reed. So Ricky, man, he had the pressure. Reed was there with a chance, blew a triple, gave it to Ricky. Ricky blew a triple. There's the gap. But it wasn't quite as bad as the one that Reed blew. And I don't know, they're probably about the same.
Yeah.
A mistake from each of them, but Ricky has been able to get the better of Reed right here. And at least Reed's knowing that, okay, I can run the guy's pace. I need a little more work to run faster.
Let's rejoin Davey Coombs, who's down on the track with Dave Dye, the mechanic for Chad Reed. Probably hoping his man was in first.
Davey, a solid effort by Chad, but he's starting to run out of time.
Yeah, he's getting close. Needs to make something happen now. He wants to win.
Are you comfortable being right behind Carmichael, or would you rather have him following you guys at this point?
Of course, I'd rather have Chad out front and him following us, but it's not working out that way right now.
And Chad is, you know, these guys are pinned. There's no pacing themselves or the race is almost over, so I'll take it a little bit easy. This is all they've got. Reed closes a little bit that lap. White flag.
The final lap of the 2:15 main. It's Ricky Carmichael, and Chad Reed will take them all the way around. And right now, Ricky, I'm sure, is hoping for another uncork a nice 56 or something. But Chad Reed, dog determination is all over the back of him. He is really getting a run at him now.
He closed it. He's giving himself a chance. He's forcing Ricky to ride this last lap perfect. Nick Way, left rider, and wisely gets over to the left, out of the way. Not to wreck the progress of another Yamaha, that's for sure.
Well, I'll tell you what do you think, David? If Chad has any chance, he's going to have to do it in this whoop section.
He's got to hope for Ricky to blow it. Ricky has to be perfect. Wow, this is close.
Carmichael, no time to celebrate. Chad taking an inner side line, trying to close it down. Ricky, as you said, is just looked perfect as he comes up to the finish line. Ricky Carmichael, your winner.
And he points back to Reed, a little fist pump. Reed rides right past him. Doesn't even look at him, just like last week. That's a big win for Ricky. He held off the rider that I expected to come in here with all the motivation and firepower to win it. He held him off.
When we return to Anaheim's Edison International Field, we will have official results as well as a winner interview right after this. Stay with us. And scooters. Welcome back to Anaheim as we take a look at our Honda main results. It's Ricky Carmichael picking up the victory, followed by Chad Reed, David Vuillemin, Mickael Byrne, and Ezra Lusk, your top five. Right now, let's sit it down to Davey Coombs.
Guys, I've seen Ricky Carmichael win a lot of races, but RC, you look stoked that time.
I was pumped, you know. Dude, I'm just out there trying to win, and everyone has so much speculation, and, you know, Reed is just like, he can beat me, and that's what everyone wanted to see tonight. You know, I knew where he was the last couple laps. I was just trying to be safe. The track was really hard packed, and I wanted to get through tonight. I didn't feel good, and it's a bonus that I won.
Good job, Arson. Good job.
Thanks.
All right, thank you, Davies. We take a look at our Honda Series standings. It's Ricky Carmichael out in front, but this is shaping up to be one great series. And with that, let's send it back down to Davey.
Thanks, you guys. Chad, that was a great race. I know you weren't in front at the end, but you have to feel good about your effort.
Yeah, it feels good, Davey. You know, each week we get closer and closer, and the last weeks have been somewhat challenging, and tonight wasn't no different with LaRocco just about taking my toe off. But, hey, I have a lot of fun, and, you know, this weekend we're a hell of a lot closer, and, you know, we're pushing him into mistakes, so that's the name of the game. And I think a bunch of people, all the people in blue, you know, they've been working really, really hard, and we got the bike going great. You know, I was a little too fast out here. I couldn't get hooked up, but, you know, they're doing a great job. They're sticking by me. The guys at Pass and Limit, Thor, Scott, Bridgestone, and, you know, the fans. Thanks a lot.
Fantastic effort, Chad. Back upstairs.
All right, thank you, Davies. We take a look at our THQ World Supercross GP standings. And what a great year it has been thus far. We're not even half the way through with great events still to come from Minneapolis, Atlanta, St. Louis. The list goes on and on until we get to Las Vegas, Nevada. So on behalf of my colleagues, the champ David Bailey and Davey Coombs, I'm Todd Harris saying good night from Anaheim, California. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.